Hi there, I'm Nick Valdez. I'm the operations superintendent for the Cañon City and Royal Gorge Railroad, and what we do is we operate historic excursion trains for the Royal Gorge Route Railroad. We are a scenic train service that runs 12 miles from Cañon City, Colorado to Parkdale through the Grand Canyon of the Arkansas, the Royal Gorge region of Colorado. We have a 5 to 17 car passenger train where we offer several different exclusive types of service ranging from coach all the way to dome, first class lunch or dinner. We have several different world-class culinary options available for all passengers who may come to ride with us. And what our goal is here is to try and recreate the days of old when one would travel the country by train, have a nice meal, and explore some scenic views when the world moved a little bit slower. And that's what we try to do here at the Royal Gorge Route Railroad. And the scenery is spectacular, the history is amazing, it's a very wonderful ride, and the equipment's pretty cool too, if I do say so myself. Leaving Cañon City, typical passenger can expect to immediately view the famed Arkansas River, which travels directly through the Royal Gorge. You see the Arkansas River all the way up from the time you depart Cañon City, all the way up to Parkdale and back. Traveling into the gorge, the option is there, the ability is there to see any sort of wildlife ranging from Canada geese, bald eagles, Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep, mule deer. In the summer months especially, you get to see the whitewater rafters as they go through on a fast-paced adventure through the gorge in the river. A lot of historic structures, including the famous Royal Gorge Bridge, which spans 1,053 feet above the Arkansas River. The train also passes through the famous Rio Grande hanging bridge built by C. Shaler Smith when the railroad was being produced back in the 1870s. Lots of history from the Royal Gorge War all the way up to the abandonment of the line from Union Pacific and giving the line over to the Royal Gorge Railroad, as well as Rock and Rail, which runs aggregate rock trains through the gorge in the night several times a week all year round. So it's a pretty neat operation, lots to see, lots to view. Rock formation spanning 1,000 to 1,300 feet above you, where you don't look out, you look up, or look down at the river. And each day is different, from a beautiful winter scene to a nice, clear, green summer day in the gorge. You can't go wrong with what you expect to see in the gorge. This locomotive right here, SD40-2 number 601, we picked it up from the Escalante Western Railroad back in June, July 2021. The Escalante Western Railroad went out of business down in New Mexico. All three locomotives, the 601, the 602, and the 603, went for sale as a set, and we got them for a pretty good price, along with the other caboose that we recently put over with our cafe over by the railroad depot. Built in 1969, showed up at the railroad, and it's been working perfectly ever since we got it, with minor tweaks here and there. In this locomotive, we did something pretty extravagant for our crew. We learned that we could do it with this locomotive. We have 4 65-ton Whiting jacks inside our Quonset hut, our car shop, screw jacks. And what we did with this locomotive about a year ago is we replaced all 6 traction motors, something that had never been done on the railroad before without the use of contractors. So with our mechanical staff and our good locomotive crew that we have with us, we learned that we can execute a lot of good maintenance and keep the fleet up to shape. And the 600s have been pulling their weight for the railroad ever since they arrived on property. We'll use them mainly the summer months. Excellent comfort for cab riders, lots of history. And we even have a holiday-themed SD40, which I'll show you guys in a little while. But 601, as you can see, is painted in a nice little taste to the Rio Grande. We put our own little unique Royal Gorge spin on it, and we just love the heck out of it. They're good engines. At 3,000 horsepower, 184 tons, they're really good locomotives, and they will do the job, not break a sweat one little bit. So this locomotive right here, GP40 or a GP40H, and the reason we call it the H is on the back of a GP40 is that it does come equipped with an HEP generator to supply electric power to the train. This locomotive number 728 was built in 1969 as a standard freight G40 for the Atlanta and West Point Railroad. And after several changes of road names, it actually finally ended up getting rebuilt in 1993 by Morrison Knudsen to become equipped with high-speed gearing and that HEP generator. And it ended up going to work for Virginia Rail Express, high-speed commuter trains out of Washington, D.C. every day. About 2011, 2012, they were looking to update their fleet of locomotives. Well, at the same time, we were starting to look for another locomotive ourselves. So we got in contact with VRE, and the locomotive arrived with its number from VRE, V20, which we changed to C20, and it operated in the VRE paint scheme with Royal Gorge painted on the side. It was a red, white, and blue scheme. And then in 2019, our superintendent at the time set ahead motion to paint the locomotive to get it to match our passenger fleet, and we also backdated the number to its original number, the 728. So it's a good backup locomotive. It's a good switching locomotive. If ever we need it on the train, we'll get it on, and it does the job well, just like the rest of them. It's another great addition to the fleet that we have here at Royal Gorge. Our passenger train will vary in size anywhere from 5 to sometimes 15 or even 17 cars in length. Pretty big passenger train. We'll have a locomotive or sometimes 2 locomotives on the west end that will just simply pull the train up westbound through the Royal Gorge all the way to Parkdale, climbing uphill all the way from grades going from virtually flat all the way up to in excess of 2% at the steepest part of the gorge right there at the Royal Gorge Bridge. At Parkdale, we don't turn around or anything like that. Basically, we'll go backwards, where the locomotive will still be providing propulsion for eastbound movement back to Cañon City, but the conductor will be utilizing the shove booth to be the eyes and ears for the engineer. This is what a shove booth is. A location in the vestibule of a car where the conductor can stand with a windshield radio, emergency brake valve, and a little whistle right here, as well as an air brake gauge, lights, bells. And this is how the conductor protects the shove for the engineer going back down to Cañon City. So this is how we operate here at CCRG. So one of the cool, unique things we have here at the Royal Gorge Route Railroad, we're really big into the holiday season, and we run our Santa Express trains, which start near Thanksgiving all the way up past Christmas into the new year, early into January. Our Santa Express trains are a big hit. People come from all over the country to go for a ride and say hello to Santa Claus, tell him what they want for Christmas, all that good stuff, sing some songs, have cookies, drink hot cocoa. It's a wonderful ride. It's definitely a good time for the entire family. And what we decided to do to help that whole event along is we took our other SD40-2 number 602, the sister locomotive to the 601, and our paint crew did a fantastic job creating this wonderful Santa Express paint scheme, complete with snowflakes, all sorts of beautiful colors that you could imagine. This locomotive goes on for our Santa Express, really makes the whole trip magical. A wonderful train ride, good food, good fun, complete with a wonderful locomotive on the head end, taking you up to the North Pole to see Santa. So it's a really cool piece of machinery. We like it. Quite vibrant in the theme of all things locomotive paint schemes, but it's a really cool paint job, and we're really proud of it. One of the main things that the Royal Gorge Route Railroad is known for is our fleet of EMD F7s. As you can see, I have one behind me. This is EMD F7A number 403, built for the Chicago Northwestern Railroad back in 1949 as a high-speed commuter locomotive. It later worked in the executive fleet, taking the businessmen, executives of the C&W all around the system until the C&W got bought out by Union Pacific back in 1995. In 1998, when the starters of the Royal Gorge Route Railroad began looking for equipment and motive power, they came across this locomotive, the 403, and another one, former C&W number 402. Locomotives were in fabulous shape, and those two F7s were the locomotives that began powering our first passenger trains back in May of 1998. As you can see, we still have the locomotives here on property. Great locomotives in that classic streamliner look. Rail fans all across the world are always excited to see them. Great pieces of equipment, and as you can see here at the railroad, we've got a lot of cool things going on, lots of wonderful scenery and lots of things to see and take part in. So I invite you, if you'd like more information, to check out our website at royalgorgeroute.com. You can also check us out on social media. Thank you very much for watching, and we hope to see you on board sometime.